into our topic today, which is retargeting, which can help you create more inbound opportunities for yourself. And it can help you strategically create a sense of omnipresence in your market, a sense where it feels like to your prospects, to your database, to your audience buckets, that you are everywhere. And in a good way, not in an annoying pest way, right? But in a way that they don't, they're not going to forget what you do and what industry you're in and so forth. And that you're also providing value to them. Okay. So I've got some notes and thoughts here, but I thought maybe we'll start with where there are opportunities to retarget. In other words, in what media or forms of retargeting there are, and then we'll get into some specific tactics. And also let all of you know who are on here, we have a deep dive workshop with more step-by-step tactics that we're just going to give you all access to. Okay, so if you just get back to whoever invited you today, or whoever is the reason why you're on here today, we'll just get you free access to that. It's a retargeting workshop, and we'll show you, the what, where, when, how, why, all of that good stuff as to how to do all of this. And for those of you that want to explore having it done for you, we can do that as well at a cost. Well, actually, we do this stuff for free for folks in our sales organization. Outside of our direct organization, there is a cost to do that because it takes a lot of know-how and a lot of actual time to do this stuff, but it's work worth doing because of the lift that it can get you in opportunities. And for the actual, after you set it up, you can get a lot of reach and a lot of impact for a very small cost. It doesn't cost a lot to really feel the sense of omnipresence. So let's start with where and or on what platforms or in what media might we retarget folks on. And I want to make this interactive. I feel like there's other stuff that I'm going to get into share, and you'll hear plenty of my voice, but I think it's better if these are more interactive and engaging.
Facebook.
Perfect. And which one is paired with Facebook?
Instagram,
right? Like those two are paired together in the same ads platform, right? So, and I would say that that one or one other would be like at the top of my list of sort of the retargeting hierarchy, let's say.
Google/YouTube.
Google. So I'm going to separate those. So there are Google display ads, and then you can do YouTube video or even display ads. And I'm going to say that they are similar, and you build them or you create them in the same platform. In other words, a Google ad account is where you would build those out, but they're very different in function. So Google display ads are, the banner ads, the static or even can have slight animation that you'll see when you go onto your local online newspaper or onto, I don't know, wherever, whatever your, I don't know, if you go to political leaning sites or even, if you go on to, the National Association of Realtors site, anywhere, any website that gets traffic and has Google AdSense installed, you have the opportunity to show up there as a banner ad. And I'm going to show like actual examples of all of this in a minute. I just want to kind of go through the possibilities here. So we got Facebook and Instagram, Google and YouTube, which are kind of, connected, but there's different, you need different media. In other words, you can do this. You can use same or similar media on Facebook and Instagram, but a Google display ad is different than a YouTube video retargeting ad. So it's different creatives, right? You need different creative for those. Where else?
How about LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, you can do that. I would say that LinkedIn, generally speaking, is a lot more expensive, but it is possible. It is possible. Absolutely.
TikTok.
So TikTok, I haven't explored retargeting on TikTok, but they have a pixel. Yeah, I might have to do some more exploration of that and add that to the retargeting workshop. I've run ads on TikTok, lead ads, similar to Facebook lead ads, and that's actually been quite successful. But I haven't done retargeting. We'll have to explore that. I like that. What else? There's one more that I would say is semi-obvious, and then one that I would say is not so obvious, but is can be a huge one. Twitter. Twitter will actually give you a bit of code that you can put on your site, your website, and you can actually put video or content on Twitter back in front of people that engage on your site. Now, I would put that way down the hierarchy. Okay, we're talking way down the list. Now, the last one I will share that is a little bit sort of less obvious and maybe out of the box. I would say that direct mail is a retargeting, is a great retargeting channel. In other words, sending out postcards, letters, note cards, gift cards to your sphere of influence, to your past clients, to new prospects or leads coming into your pipeline. That is a great way, a great, sort of different type of channel where it is much less noisy. Okay. If you think about the amount of digital messages that we're bombarded with every day, it is far less than the mail ending up in your mailbox, or at least in my mailbox. I mean, there's very little showing up in my mailbox every day, which is opportunity. Now, the cost is more, but if the ROI is greater too, it could work out well. Okay, and actually the preferred provider that I love, Thanks.io, they will even give you code that you can put on your website where you can automatically send a direct mail piece just for people that land on your website, which is not the topic for today. But if you're interested in that, I can get you connected with whoever over there to get that taken care of if that's something you want to explore. Okay, so those are the different channels. Now, what does some of this look like? Okay. So as I mentioned, I'll say it again for those that just hopped on. For anyone here, if you just get back to whoever invited you here today, we're going to give you an entire workshop that goes through the how-to very specifically and strategically, and walks you through, number one, how to create the audience buckets, and then how to actually then put the creative in front of those buckets, right? So we have to identify where can we do this retargeting. We have to then do the technical work to create the buckets of audiences that we can put these retargeting messages back in front of, and then we can put that creative back in front of them. And the creative can come in a lot of forms and fashions, which I'm going to get to here in a minute. Now, some resources for those that want some shortcuts or some help with this. Number one, I said, if you're interested, we can set this up for you. If you're in our sales organization, we actually can do this for you. In fact, Greg Unthank, great producer with a small team in Cincinnati, Ohio area. We just set him up. We're still in process of setting up some killer retargeting campaigns for him on Facebook and Instagram that are getting him appointments, people actually scheduling phone calls with him. That's the kind of stuff we can do with you. But some resources, if you want to do it yourself, that you may want to check out. Street Text is a great platform, and they are now offering retargeting as an add-on service. And Listings to Leads is a great platform as well to do some of this stuff, both of which you can create the top of funnel or beginning of pipeline leads. And also you can create the retargeting to bring those folks back or to create a sense of relationship and rapport and build value with those folks. Okay. Now, the different buckets or audiences that you can build out to put your creative in front of. Okay. Number one, and these are more specifically for Facebook and Instagram, or at least Facebook and Instagram have the greatest number of bucket opportunities. On a lot of the others, it's a matter of your audience bucket is people that visit your website, okay, in one form or another. But on Facebook and Instagram, we can upload our existing database, whether you have a couple hundred or a couple thousand people, you can upload them as a custom audience using the audience manager. You can choose, you can build an audience of just people that have engaged with your business page. You can choose people who have clicked on lead ads, or they're now calling them instant forms. I think that's what they're calling them nowadays. They changed the name of them several times. I still call them lead ads because it's the same thing. It's their built-in, where folks don't leave the site, but are submitting their information. And you can set those up for anyone that clicks on those, or you can have it just be when they submit their information, right? And that's getting a little bit, deeper into the woods, but you may have a different creative for folks that just clicked on the ads, and then a different variety for folks that have opted in already, okay? You can set up an audience bucket for people that have watched videos, and you can set it up so that it could be watched an entire video. It could be watched 50% or more of a video. It could be watched 25% of a video. It can be what they call a through play, which is 3 seconds or more. There are a number of different ways that you can slice that up. You can have it be all website traffic, or you can even have it be, I want to show this creative only to people that have landed on this page on my website. So for example, if you're driving a bunch of traffic to your sell page or your home valuation page, you can put a retargeting ad or retargeting creative, whether it be a video or a static image, etc., only in front of those people. What would be a specific application of that? Well, maybe you're driving people to that page offering a free home valuation. Well, you might then put back in front of them a cash offer unique value proposition or something similar to that, right? Because, maybe the free home valuation caught their eye, but for whatever reason, they didn't submit their information. And then you come back at them with the cash offer, and that's something they're interested in. Or maybe they opt in for both, which tells you you've got someone with higher or greater motivation potentially, right? And that's one of my favorite things about using retargeting is having, when people respond in multiple ways. And for example, in KV Core, if you've got someone who they've opted in for this thing, and then they come back and see one of your retargeting ads and they opted in for this thing, now we know that someone has more motivation than the person that just opted in for the first thing, right? It's natural that they have more intent or maybe are further along in the process than just the person who's starting out thinking about buying or selling.
Hey, Josh,
and also do fans of page. Yes.
Is there a way, like I'm building a database in KV Core, is there a way to zap any new leads in?
Yeah.
Awesome. Because I was thinking, I have to dump my 3,000, but then like mark it and upload.
Yeah, you can use Zapier to do that. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Just hit up Mike.
Okay.
Yep. We have that. We have it documented, and he can even build it for you if you want. Great question. And just if you zoned out there, what James is asking is, can it be set up that you automatically, when you add someone to your database, can they automatically be added to a custom audience on Facebook and Instagram? And the answer is yes. And the easiest way to do that is with a Zapier, Zapier.com, which again, if all of this is like, we're going to give you the retargeting workshop. There are some great resources in here to help with this, and we can do it for you if you'd like to explore either paying us to do it or explore joining our organization, our sales organization. Now, we've got the custom audience buckets or the retargeting audience buckets. I think the easiest way to then think about the creative or what you're putting back in front of these audiences through retargeting are two types of creative. One I'll call brand awareness. Okay, so you're just reminding people that you exist, right? And not just that you exist, obviously, but reminding them of the unique value propositions that you may have or may offer, sharing testimonials. Here's a great example. So I created a short form video this weekend. Actually, I think I recorded it on Friday, but I didn't send it out or syndicate it or upload it on platforms until Saturday. And this will make a great retargeting creative. It's me simply telling a story of a client that it's on the mortgage side. Okay, so this client was referred to us by a realtor, I don't know, a realtor contact, a guy that I've known for years in North Carolina. He referred Michael and said, hey, I don't know if you guys can help him, but, I would love for you to try. And Michael had been turned down by several other lenders. And we were not only able to pre-approve him, but he's buying 2 homes. He's under contract on 2 homes, one for himself with an FHA loan and one for his mom with a DSCR non-QM loan. And we're not just pre-approved, we're under contract on both of the properties, and we're in underwriting. And so stories like that make great content for retargeting. And people love stories, right? The Bible is just a collection of great stories, right? And think what you want about the Bible, like, it's the book that has sold the most copies of all time, right? And it's just, chock full of stories and fables, right? So when you can tell stories and specifically, like that's a, sort of a hero's journey type of story. Like, Michael didn't know what to do and we were able to help him. And now he's a hero to his mom, and we played a role in that. Right. So that's a great testimonials. If you can get the client to tell the story, whew, now we're really cooking with gas. Now we haven't gotten that from Michael yet, but we certainly will try to, once we actually settle. Right. I think it's best to get those once the transaction has actually been consummated. Although there may be exceptions to that, right? But those types of things, I think for brand awareness, you can have an example of just making the case of, reminding people, hey, I'm an agent in this area, and these are the type of folks that I like to serve, or that I can best serve. But unique value propositions and testimonials or stories are going to be the best for brand awareness, let's say. The other big one here is direct response. Okay, so getting people to opt in again, basically. Okay, and I kind of gave an example already where, let's say you're using a Facebook lead ad, or you're running Google ads, and you're getting people that opt in for, a free list of recently price reduced homes in your area, or a free list of new construction homes in your area, or maybe you're offering homes that would be perfect for downsizing baby boomers, right? A free list of maintenance-free single-story homes in your area. That's, that if we're trying to take them from here to here, right? Here is cold client or a cold prospect. They don't know you at all. And we're trying to take them from there to closed client transaction and champion for your business. We have to move them across the timeline. And them opting in for a, curated list of properties, it only gets them so far. But if now I then put back in front of them a retargeting ad, and I'll use the new construction as an example. If I make them an offer to opt in for a report with 10 mistakes to avoid when buying a new home, I'm moving them closer. I'm taking them, I'm getting them to move across the timeline some. Or they opt in for the list of new homes, and then I have a report with all of the best builder incentives and special financing programs available for folks buying a new home here in Central PA. And then they opt in for that. That's moving them along. And when you're using something like KV Core, and most CRMs are going to do this too, you can find the folks that have opted in for multiple things. And those folks are more likely to be closer to over here than the folks that just take step one. Okay. So I love putting back in front. And the example, I'll give you a very tangible example. Greg on our team that I mentioned, we're in the process of setting up. The first thing we set up is a series of 4 videos specifically for the buyer buckets in his retargeting audiences. And each one of them was offering a report of more value that once they opt in for that report, they can schedule a free consultation, right? So we're moving people along this timeline. So we're putting it in front of people that requested information on how they can buy a home with 0 down. Now we're offering a report, and we have a couple of different reports, which is one of the reasons why I love Listings to Leads. They got some great guides and reports that you can use for this kind of stuff. Now, Greg made his own, which is great. But if you don't want to make your own, there are resources out there. If someone opts in for that, and then they schedule a call, we're really shrinking down the timeline now, right? We're getting much closer to being able to have the opportunity to serve them as a client. Okay, so we're just trying to move them across a pipeline or move them down a path. Okay, all right. So those are the 2 main types of retargeting campaigns, right? The two big buckets, right? That brand awareness and that direct response. And I've got a bunch of examples on here. These are right here are Google display ads. These are YouTube video retargeting ads. I've got examples of, and I'll drop this link in there, but this isn't the full retargeting workshop. This is just some notes, but I'll drop that into the chat. But the one that I don't think we have examples in here, but in the workshop are like the example of getting them to opt in again, right? Getting them to request more information and moving them across the line. These are more, the examples in this notes more fall under the brand awareness and not necessarily the direct response retargeting bucket. So I was hoping this would pop up here. I'm going to stop my share. Maybe it'll load up then. I'm going to share the notes here, and then I want to open it up for Q&A. Who's got questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas? Now, one thing I didn't get into is budget, right? And I think the budget is going to vary depending on the size of your buckets, okay? So if you've got a database of 10,000, you're probably going to want to allocate a little bit more budget than if you've got a database of 1,000 that you're retargeting to. But with these types of campaigns, you can get legitimate traction for as little as $1 a day. Or, better I would say would be like $5 a day. And you spend $2 to $3 on Facebook and Instagram, $1 on Google display, and $1 on YouTube video retargeting, right? And you can always scale up from that point. But I think, if you can certainly start small and scale up from that point. Now, the one the thing that's hard to attribute is brand awareness retargeting campaigns and the direct, the direct client. In other words, another reason why I like direct response retargeting is I can go in, when I get a client, I can go in and see, they first opted in for this, then they opted in for this, then they opted in for this, and so forth, right? And so you can track that back. But I've also gotten clients where I know that indirectly some of my brand awareness messaging played a role in them choosing to become a client with me, but it's not as easy to directly track, right? So some of this, I guess the point is, some of this is just cost of doing business. But, if you spend $1 a day for 365 days, I mean, 365 bucks, $1 a day to put a brand awareness video to make sure that your database doesn't forget that, that you're there to help them with their buying and selling needs if and when the time comes. To me, that's a, that's a worthwhile expense. All right, Richard, I'm EXP and I'm in the Pathway group. Like your information, want to get as much as possible. Well, thank you, Richard, for joining us. Right on. You're with Jeff. Jeff's great. Isabel, love reading the Bible. Facts tell and stories sell. Exactly. Facts tell and stories sell. Harry, Jesus has the biggest downline of all time. Absolutely. Will there be a recording? So what we do, each one of these Monday Marketing Masterminds, we do make the recordings available. Just get back to whoever invited you and they can get you a link. You can create a free account and get access to the recording, which is also how you'll get access to the retargeting workshop that I had promised everyone as well. Can you explain what listing to leads has to offer and what you like about it? So great question. Number one, there's a free trial. So I would recommend you check it out. But the two biggest things that I like it for are, number one, is when you have a listing, I like their listing promotion ads. Now, Street Text does them as well, but we typically use the listings to leads portal for promoting listings to generate leads, okay? Hence listings to leads. But the other huge value with that platform is they have, I can't remember if it's 25 or 50 PDF guides and reports that you can brand to yourself. Now, quite honestly, some of them I think are just more fluff, let's say, but there are some really good ones in there. Like, for example, for seller leads, the 5 dangers of overpricing your home when listing it or when selling. There's a great one on downsizing, a report for folks that are thinking about downsizing. There are a bunch of others, but it's very, very affordable. I forget if it's the lowest tier is either $20 per month or $40 per month. But it's very, very affordable. And you get a 21-day free trial. I believe it's 21 days. And John says listening to leads is pretty simple to use once linked to your Facebook. Yeah, it's really, I would say that it's not quite as easy as Street Text to launch an ad, but it's pretty close. Street Text makes it really, really simple. It's close, but it's got some different functionality as well. For me, there's a lot of value for what they're charging, let's say. Other questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas? Richard, I'm assuming you mean the link for the replay. Just shoot me a message. I want to take care of everybody that has guests here and so forth. So just shoot me a message and we'll get you squared away. Anyone else? Questions, comments?
I would like to dig into the listings, the leads a little bit more, see what you're doing, because I just started on this listing I've got. I had Toby looking into all that stuff or doing it in the background. But now I'm trying to get my head around all the options because, I'll create flyers for the neighborhood, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. They do have some great flyers as well. I haven't been using it as often, quite honestly. But yeah, I mean, the three big things I've used it for are I have used it for flyers, but really promoting listings and the guides and PDFs. Whether you can download them and use them as content to send out to your database just to be of value and service, but then you can run either direct sort of top of funnel ads or retargeting middle of funnel ads to get people re-opting in for whatever XYZ report. Wendy, thank you. Yes, the believe sign. That's my kiddos got it for me for Christmas. I was so bummed when I finished. I'm like caught up and I'm like waiting for Wednesday for the next episode to be released. Love that show. I don't really, I'm not into many shows. I have to be honest, but that one's got me.
It's like the old days of TV, right? You actually have to
Exactly.
wait for the next show.
I kind of like it, actually. Like, it's a good kind of anticipation. You know what I mean? Like,
make some popcorn and you're ready to roll.
Exactly. And I think more, that's happening more and more, where they're not just like dropping the whole bucket. My kiddos are like, what's this? I have to wait for a week for the next, like Disney Plus, does a good job with that, where they'll release them a week at a time. Yeah. Like the good old days. Other questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas behind retargeting? I should have asked at the beginning. Who on here has done any retargeting, run any retargeting campaigns? Anyone? And you can comment or open your line.
Not yet, but it's something that we will work in the future on it.
It is a little bit of a chicken and egg idea, meaning if you don't have a database and you're not running ads and driving traffic already, then you got to focus on that, right? Get more prospects into the top of the funnel or the beginning part of the pipeline. Otherwise, you don't really have audience buckets to be putting retargeting messaging back in front of. But if you're doing that, I think it is worthy of your energy, effort, and the cost of it to do that, to get more from that, what you're already investing time, energy, and money into to fill up the pipeline.